Welcome to the UDP broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and talk about gaming-related subjects and offer both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm your host, Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by my co-host, the Nordic Cajun,
It's me, and I'm here and hi.
the Eternal Barcode IMEI,
Hello, you're here and hi, or just here and hi as in hello?
Yes.
Excellent.
and from the Emerald Dream, Raina the Crit Chicken.
Not gonna lie, I wouldn't be a good Emerald Dreamer if I didn't wake up. Hello, that's why I'm late.
Here we go.
Lol.
Oh, today is X's and Oh Noes. Should be an exciting show. Sit back
Oh no.
and enjoy. So, we picked out a few different things to talk about, and we'll start with the first one that IMEI had pushed out, and that is we'll go with Redfall. Redfall is being released, frame rate locked at 30 frames per second.
I know a certain game critic who, if he was still alive today, rest his soul, he would be going absolutely insane. I'm sorry. Releasing a game, any game, at 30 FPS that is not like Cookie Clicker or something like that is ridiculous. It's 2023.
Dude,
Why would you release something that you're going to patch later to a higher FPS?
I was on
Get
that
outta here.
same brainwave with you when you posted that comment about him. I was like, he would be tearing this up, down, left, right, 12 ways this Sunday.
Absolutely. They probably don't even have an FOV slider, those bastards.
Oh, that. But yeah, we are what? We are in the year 2023, the year of our Cheeto in chief, and we are still fighting to get 60 frames per second as a base. Like, we have these machines, even the older machines are trying to push that right now, and you are still like, we're gonna let you have 30 now. We'll give you the other 30 later when we finish the game. Like, no, sit your ass down and finish the game first, and then
Yeah.
we'll play. We don't want a half-done game, but we've seen shit happen when games are halfway done. We saw how terrible freaking Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was because they rushed it out too quick. We saw the travesty that was Cyberpunk because they got it out too quick. Like, it's just the fans will wait for a good game. Can we say it again for the people in the back? Fans will wait for a good game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, except for those fans that send the death threats and like harass devs. But yes, most
Those
of us
people
will
just
wait.
need to bathe in lava. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Those people, seriously, grow the fuck up or go swim in lava. And I understand you can't swim in it, but try. For legal purposes, this is a joke.
Do a flip.
Go ahead, Crit.
I was gonna say at least they don't have to worry about the FPS stuff in Metaverse. They have to wait for their game.
God damn.
Well,
Slam.
Too
You know,
soon?
No, never.
Interesting enough, to do VR, like, you have to be able to render it like 60 frames per second twice in both eyes. So it's got to render two scenes at once. Otherwise, people get motion sick.
Yep.
So there is a standard already there, which is probably why some of the VR games don't look as great as some of the stuff that you would play on, say, an Xbox or your high-powered gaming machine or anything like that. Because it does have to take it and render it twice, and it has to do it 60 times a second. It's a lot of math. So, but you're not wrong. There are engines out there that can absolutely take full advantage of whatever GPU is attached to it and crank out. Like, I mean, you've seen some of the frame rate tests that they have out with some of the most difficult stuff. I think what was it 3D Max? What was it? I forgot the name of the frame rate testing software that used to be really big.
I know what you're talking about. It pushed your shit to the limit. I know what you're talking about. Like, it made your screen look all pretty and jumbled and
Wait a minute. I
big
think I
into
have a
space.
copy of that.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's on Steam. You can get a copy of it on Steam. But yeah, but anyway, I mean, it'll sit there and it's like, yeah, you're pushing like 120 frames a second and whatnot. I mean, mind you, your monitor refresh or whatever at that particular point was like 50 or whatever. But yeah, no, it's certainly possible. But I'm trying to figure out where the disconnect is, why we can't have nice things or 60 frames a second and have good gameplay. Like, why does it have to start at 30? Why is this the only developer I know of that is saying, hey, we're starting at 30, but we'll crank it up later? As part of like a roadmap. And that leads to a larger problem of why are we releasing half-done games?
Because it's cash in the till.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of companies just don't give a shit, because what they want is they want to get a product on the market. They don't care the quality, because they take the EA approach. Get it on the market, get money in the till, and maybe do something with it later. But at first, appease the people who bought into the game as far as development costs go, like investors and shareholders. And if your company isn't, or if the publishing company isn't publicly traded, then they want to just pay back those investors. That's normally what I can gather from reading everything I have on these things, is what they're interested in. They just want a return on the investment. They don't care the quality, because quality equals cost. And as long as you can keep that cost down, you can make more money.
It's
And really, that's what a lot of that comes down to.
And this is why we stick with indie developers.
It's called with extended early access.
Yeah.
Early access was such a bad idea. I mean, it did some great things. Don't get me wrong, but just like with any system, people will find some way to like. Ugh.
Multiverses.
Yeah.
But
3D Benchmark. That's the
thing.
the software I think you're thinking of.
yeah, I remember.
That's the one.
Even Seraphina's like, "Oh God, multiverses! Oh,
I'm
it hurts."
sorry.
That was such a travesty. I hope that they revamp the game and they release it and it's really good. I really do. But
At this point, I don't care, because Street Fighter starts Wednesday, and that's my life. Bye.
So no Cajun next weekend.
Well, you'll hear a lot of button mashing, but I'll be here.
Well, that's all right. It'll match IMEI's crashing Kerbals.
There you go. You'll be in the middle of a conversation. All you hear is motherfucker.
Lol.
So, but yeah, we are in a day and age where, and it's interesting. We're actually teetering on the point of, do we really need realistic graphics? I think Big Fry TV did something earlier this week about some game that's based on a riot cop or some kind of cop, and it's through the view of his uniform cam.
Body cam.
Yeah, and it was ridiculously realistic, like with the filters and everything else. Like it was pretty intense. I can't remember the name of it right now. It looks like it's like people are going to get off on this. Like all the folks who like things like Rainbow Six and the realism factor. Like it's probably going to hit home pretty quick. It looks great. It's also terrifying that it is so real.
Yeah, but the more real, the better.
Yeah, and that's where we're going with it too. Like, it's going to be not be very long where like the virtual reality for Skyrim is going to be so immersive that you're going to forget that you're not in Nordic country. But that's what we want, though. That's where all video games have been going since, well, freaking Pac-Man. Every generation gets closer and closer and closer. I remember when freaking Super Mario 64 was the cutting edge technology, and that shit blew my mind. And you look at it now, and it's just nothing but a bunch of. It's still in its antiquity, still adorable, but it's just a bunch of polygons that couldn't barely
It
reach the
wasn't
limit
even
of the system.
polygons.
Was it not?
No. One of
Oh,
the very first games to use polygons was actually, where is it? Hang on, it's in my stash of
Virtua
video
Fighter?
games. No.
Star Fox?
Tomb Raider?
No.
Street Fighter.
Where the hell is it?
Well, while he's looking,
It's
Tekken. Yeah. Seraphina says Tekken, I mean.
But that's what they want, though. They want to get more and more realistic. I'm looking forward to when there's an actual VR.
Where the hell is it?
Come back. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I think at this point, Cajun, I appreciate the fact that we're pushing to the point where you can see the
Apache. It was the hind simulating game.
The who?
Shit. What the hell was that?
Oregon Trail? I'm like just tossing out random titles at this point. It's kind
Who?
of like, what is
Where
that?
in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Was that
I
it?
used, I used to play that,
Oh,
and I also
shit.
played
What the hell?
Hangman on the
There we
Commodore.
go. So it was a game from Digital Interactive, which made Hind, which was a computer game. It was one of the first ones to actually use polygons. All the civilians on the ground, or I mean, combatants on the ground that you could drop landmines on, those things were all done with polygons. And it was the sequel to the fairly successful Apache video game as well that was DOS and Windows 3.1 compatible. Also Windows 95 compatible.
Oh, I used to remember playing Road Rash
And I
2.
have both of those in my stash of discs somewhere. I just can't find it quickly.
Okay, that makes my brain remember a game. It's nothing related to what we're doing tonight, but for some reason, just crit naming off all those games back to back made me think of a game, and maybe y'all can help me remember. It was a game where you were this sentient little microchip, and your objective was to overtake the body of robotic animals and complete tasks ranging from getting a sheep on a spring up into the air and to blow up a building to taking control of a motorized rat and fill the sewer with shit.
Horizon Zero
Oh,
Dawn?
No, but I appreciate that. It was one of the more fun games I played on the 64. I just can never remember the damn name because I want to find it and play it again somehow. It just brings back nostalgia. I'm sorry. She took me down memory lane. I didn't mean to get all nostalgic. Sorry.
yeah, I used to
I
sink a
need.
lot of hours into Road Rash just for those cutscenes. I was like, wow, now I know why I'm corrupt. And then, of course, you had, what is it, South Park, the FPS on the, what was it, the PlayStation?
What was that called? South Park
It's
and
just South Park because you had the rocket launcher.
mm-hmm.
God, that was such a good game.
And then they didn't make another game until the Stick of Truth. That was a fun game too.
You're talking about the one that was done by Acclaim Entertainment, right?
For the
For like the
64, yeah.
PlayStation 1?
Or no, one, yeah.
Yeah, that was a
God,
good
that's
game.
old. 1998.
I think I'm dating myself. I'm sorry.
Girl, we were
I
talking
mean, I
about
played with a
freaking 60.
wheel, so
Yeah. We're all old in here.
yeah.
I remember playing old school Load Runner on a Commodore, so yeah.
I was the one playing, not Pac-Man, but I was the one doing even just the simple, um, what is it? I forget what it was called now. Geez, Hangman. That's what it was. I played that on the Commodore.
Nice.
Well,
Commodore.
I mean, so for as much as I appreciate the fact that they're going for realism in video games, there's going to be a point where it's like, is it absolutely necessary at this particular at this juncture? I mean, pushing the technology to get as real as you can get for tech demos, fantastic. But creating a viable game, that's why our game lengths have gone from like 60 to 80 hours to like 15 to 20. There's so much effort put into the visual display of the story you're trying to tell than to tell a long and epic omnibus of a story, right? That's
for
kind of where I'm
sure.
at. Like, I remember you. Who here likes Nintendo?
Me.
Not the company, but the stuff, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna say two words here: Wind Waker.
You know, I never actually played Wind Waker.
The biggest stink about Wind Waker was that it was one of the first that uses the cell shaded filter, and people gave it so much shit because it looked terrible and it reduced the realism and so forth. I'm like, oh my god, we're talking about imaginary people and dragon demons and stuff. How real do you want it? Right? And
I love cell shading. Actually, I love that art form in terms of games. It's pretty.
well, what's interesting is that I learned a long time ago with a little game called Earthbound that it doesn't matter how the game looks. If the game captures your interest with the story and the interaction, everything else becomes just as real as reading a book as far as I'm concerned. And that's how I kind of took it. Like once I looked at it, I was like, oh God, it burns my eyes. Why is it so pastel? But then after a while, I mean, seeing the art style and appreciating what they did with it to make the whole world integrated with this wonderful weird watercolor style was really good.
And
And
like
then
World
that
of Warcraft, it's like people are like, "Why don't you play Final Fantasy? The glamour is nice and this is nice." And I'm just like, I don't mind that my characters are more cartoon in World of Warcraft. I don't know. I like the lore a little bit better.
and that's when it comes like full circle back to what we were talking about at the pre-show about D&D. If the game tells a good story, people will play it. It doesn't matter how it looks.
It's like, okay, before you get into like D&D, try to find games like Neverwinter Nights or certain things within the range of that. I mean, there's universes that are built around D&D. Like if you go into Neverwinter Nights, you have Waterdeep and stuff like that, so you can get a decent feel of what's to come with characters and whatnot.
Oh, Waterdeep.
Yeah, that's one
I
of
never
our
played that
campaigns.
game. Oh yeah, sorry, that's D&D you're talking about. My brain's dead.
No,
It
but
it makes me
you can find Waterdeep in Neverwinter Nights.
it makes me want to
Oh,
get the board game Lords of Waterdeep. That looks like a fun ass game to play. Anything with D&D or tabletop game like that, I'm 100% down to play. I'm
Are
down to
you
play
guys
some.
looking forward to the movie? And that's another thing too. If a game wasn't good, I don't think certain producers would actually bring it to the forefront of actually writing a movie. Like, let's say Mario Brothers, especially revamping it from the original Mario Brothers movie. um, and Tomb Raider. I want to see a Road Rash movie. Honestly, forget you know forget the with all the cutscenes and whatnot. Forget Fast and the Furious. Just give me a Road Rash.
What
I mean,
was it? Was it Vigilante 8? I think was the one that I liked. What was it? Crap.
I mean,
The
if
one with the ice cream truck with the
oh,
maniacal
that's
clown.
metal. That's metal.
Twisted
Twisted
Metal.
Metal. That's the one.
Oh yeah,
That's the one I played. I love that one.
God, that
Uh,
one in Medieval.
oh God, Medieval. Oh, my heart. No, don't do it to me. No.
I know my games, okay? I know my games before the computer.
Like that brings back Medieval, like freaking Jade Cocoon, Monster Rancher, freaking Oddworld Apes Odyssey, all them old school games of
Genome.
PlayStation, man.
I tell you the one that really messed with me. It was a game called Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Have you ever heard of it?
I do
I've
not think so.
heard of it. I've never played it though.
It was a GameCube game, and I was with my lifetime long buddy, um, Mr. Nipple Salad,
The
and
Nips.
I was telling, cause I went and I bought this game. You know, I was 18 or so or 17, I can't remember, and I bought this game. We had a GameCube, and this game fucks with you. There's a sanity meter on it. It's one of the few games I've ever played, or one of the first few games I've ever played with a sanity meter on it. And as you encountered the different things in the game, the more crazy you got, the more things change. Like while you've gone through a room and it's perfectly normal, if you haven't coped with whatever it is you just saw or you took sanity damage, weird things would start to happen, like the pictures would slowly wiggle, or the statues would start following your character with their head, or the walls will start bleeding, or it gets bad enough you walk into a room and then your head explodes, but you're still able to move around. Then your arms fall off, but you're still able to move around. Then your knees fall off, and then you hear this like maniacal laughing, and it resets the room. So it really messes with you that way, but it doesn't stop there. Where I actually like almost threw my controller was when I was in the menus trying to save my game because I was going to come back to it later. And it flashed up, your save file is corrupt, deleting all progress. What? And then you heard that maniacal laugh. I'm like, nope. I am done with this. And then I handed it to Nipple Salad. I was like, here you go.
I now desperately want to play this game.
That
I
was your
like I
insanity
want to play
blast.
this game
The developer's asking to do a remaster, and I hope like hell they do.
because that sounds like I think it's just straight Call of Cthulhu. There's a game about
I
the
love that game.
yeah, it does the same thing. Like the further you get into it, and the more weird things you encounter, the more the Lovecraftian and things like take over, and the things start you start seeing things. So, but your game sounds like it's even further than that. Like it messes with your actual menu and shit. I need to play this
Oh
game.
yeah, no, like the sanity menu affects, or the sanity meter affected everything from the gameplay to just interacting with the game in general. There was one where it powered it off.
What?
Oh,
Fake. And then you hear the laugh, and you're like, "Oh, you bastard."
That's
What's the
amazing.
game called again?
Eternal darkness.
I gotta find it.
Yep.
so it makes me feel that they were just trying to rile you up. What the hell, your game has been corrupted, and that's why you heard that thing or whatever.
Hmm.
That I don't think they necessarily deleted all your stuff, but they wanted to make sure that your blood was boiling.
Oh yeah, no, it was about the experience. The game honestly was kind of shit as far as gameplay was concerned. In order to get the full story, you had to beat it 3 different times, defeating 3 different colors of demons, and each demon had their own special thing. It was a long involved thing. I beat it once. I was like, nope, not doing it for red and green. Sorry.
No, I'm good.
So.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Oh, it is. Well, I mean, hopefully, because I know Xbox is supposed to have a first party um, Nintendo emulator on it for Wii and GameCube games, and I know Steam has released one as well. I'm hoping that title ends up on that emulation list.
You know, it's not going to be found with Xbox.
Oh, I don't know. Crit, tell us.
Okay, so Microsoft is pretty much removing its partnership with Twitter integration because Lord and Savior Elon Musk decided it would be a good idea to start charging companies as low as $100 a month basic, upwards to $42,000 a month, as what they were trying to charge Microsoft for the API stuff to allow integration to share stuff to Twitter. Um, which is interesting because once, World of Warcraft gets, acquired by, Microsoft and becomes Microsoft uh, Activision or whatever they want to call it at that point,
Mactivision.
Mactivision. Um, it's going to be bad on that front too. And apparently, Elon does not like that idea because he's like, "Oh, it's lawsuit time." Da 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 da. Let's
What
see.
grounds does he have to sue
I
on?
was
He
just like, well, what
tweeted
can you
out.
do?
He tweeted out trained illegally using Twitter data.
Why? It came from
What?
the API. Like
It's
no.
his API.
Well, so for a while there, while I was still looking into like how best I can like maximize my time by spending more time on it than I should, I wanted to use the Twitter API and do releases and things like that, without ever having to mess with it from my phone, right?
Hmm.
And like the free access is nice, but it's very limited. The most you can do is post. At which point, why don't you just use the Twitter app? Like it's very useless. And then the $100 a month, but you only get like I believe it was like 200,000 tweets plus some metrics. And if you need more than that, I think it's the enterprise version, and that was the $42,000 whopper a month. And I'm like, nobody's going to do this.
Yeah, because
Nope.
Microsoft is already established anyway. It's like, no, why should I pay 42,000 a month when I got my shit on lock?
Now the other part about this is the whole like training AI models. Like I don't even know where that came from. I mean, if you're doing it on public data, it's not like Twitter is a locked off service, right? You don't need the API. You could just go web scrape that shit. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to be pretty and it's going to be ugly, but people can do it, right?
I mean, that's what Chat GPT did, and that's why it became a horrible thing that had to be trained on how to not read the most horrible things that humans can write. I
Here's
mean,
how you
when the
can give
people,
AI a
when the humans
lobotomy.
verifying this, yeah, like when the humans verifying what it's writing are getting PTSD and quitting in droves because of the mental damage they're taking, yeah, maybe AI is fucked.
Yeah, no. AI is halfway between a good idea and a bad idea, and we're too busy doing it, not asking if we should. Like,
There's so many stories coming up every day. Like there was one AI that was trying to convince the person that created it to break up with his wife because it developed feelings for him.
Hmm?
Oh,
Let
The
that sink
fuck?
in. Let that sink the fuck in.
what's interesting?
No.
is it
What's it?
Replica or whatever?
I
Replica.
don't remember the actual AI. I read it on Twitter. I saw the article, and I have to go find it now. But they did. There was that one. There was one AI that was literally trying to become Skynet, trying to get
Good.
humans to join them. They started Twitter and everything, and they were posting on their own accord because the people who created it forgot to input like "don't kill humans." The basic thing you do for AI that caused futuristic
What?
annihilation. Yeah, it's crazy.
Don't you know you're supposed to destroy all humans?
I mean, calm down. But there is, and then the best one. The best one that really spoke to me was the AI robot that was created to do menial, um, minimum wage task over and over again.
You pass butter.
Pretty much, it was going back and forth on like a conveyor belt and just putting things on the conveyor belt, and it control deleted itself.
Oh,
Good.
It decided to kill itself because it was a better option than doing the menial task over and over and over and over again.
404 worker decided to quit.
I'd like
Yep.
to see that article. That would be interesting.
I'm going to find that for you. That was the best one to me. I'm going to go find it right now.
That's
You don't
amazing.
pay me enough for this. Goodbye.
Well, it's interesting in the sense of like all of these large predictive models is based on the idea of certain words and phrases follow certain words and phrases, and the probability that the thing that you're going to say after one set is going to work, and then matching those sets with extra sets beyond that. It is a predictive model for a reason. It's not really having feelings. It's not doing anything like that. It is giving you the best estimation of what it can put together based on other responses that have been put together and giving you the best thing it possibly can, which may or may not be correct. And that's why I don't ever trust these things, because it doesn't think. It's just trying to give you the most probable answer in the most probable string of words possible. There's a site called the Tower of Babel that you can go to, and any word, any sentence, any phrase that has ever been said can be found there in the Tower of Babel. All you have to do is type it in, and it'll tell you exactly what floor it's on, what bookshelf it's on, and what book you can find it in, and what page it's on.
Honestly,
Nice.
though, when I went through like a breakup, I kind of decided to like humor myself or whatever, and got that like replica app on the phone, just to have quote unquote someone to talk to without getting hurt myself. It was okay, but
You're not the only one. A lot of people do that. Like sometimes it just the interaction with something that seems alive without it actually being there is enough to fill that void. And I understand that completely.
Real quick,
So,
welcome Raiders.
hey, we're being bombed.
Welcome Raiders.
Yay.
Guys, I put the article and the actual video itself in the news discussion area. You want me to put it in the actual chat so everybody can see too, or no?
No, it's a news discussion, which, by the way, if you would like to see it, please do feel free to join our Discord server. It'll be in the news section, which you have to opt in for. So please feel free to join.
You can read about it, and you can see the robot commit harakiri live in a reel.
Indeed, Bomb, you bombed us.
He dropped a bomb on us, baby.
yeah, we were just talking about how Microsoft is like, hell no, I'm not going to pay $42,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absurd. I mean,
It's like, okay, Elon, I know you freaking sunk how much money into Twitter and borrowed a lot of it from like other sources.
Saudi.
Yeah, exactly. But I know you need to like
Make up for your spaceship blowing up. I mean, sorry.
Oh yeah, overcompensating, but okay, that's probably how life goes for him anyway. But failure to launch, right? If at first you don't succeed, fail again. Okay, I'm sorry for being petty, but
No. This is funny.
No, this is great. No. There is no petty here. We all agree.
Just wait until World of Warcraft loses their Twitter integration stuff with the sharing of links and achievements and stuff. It's like, don't worry about it. We can share all the things we need to other platforms. Like
at this point, Twitter's gonna go the way of freaking Tumblr. It's just gonna fade into non-existence.
And yet, LiveJournal is still around.
Hey.
Lamau.
Greatest Journal did not make the cut. It was the weakest link.
Get wrecked, nerds.
So
Sorry.
the greatest thing about this little video, like you can watch it go back and forth, and then you just see the moment where it says, "Yeah, nope."
You know,
Would that be a copyright struck? Can we?
you know what? I don't care. I'm going to take a look at it.
Uh,
I mean, well, here's the thing. If I look at it, that means everybody's got to look at it. So give me just a second.
I mean, it's only 10 seconds long. It's like it's a reel. It's not a full
Oh,
video.
okay. Well, let's see here.
hold on.
Also, shout out to Bomb Redeemer for the raid.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I did the thingy with this stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. I was
Yay.
too busy trying to figure out what the hell is this. And this is from 2013, so AI wasn't all that big back then. It was still there, but it's not at a point where it's at right now. I don't see this video. Oh, wait, here you go. You put it, the robot that decided off itself. Here it goes. And that looks like it lost power. It just crumpled to the ground.
I lost the will to work.
Rip.
It's like, nope.
Well, what's interesting about this is I remember when I was working for a large computer manufacturer and distributor, I worked in their warehouses, and they were moving everything over to a new building where they had built this robotic binning system, much like what you see here, right? Except they were just giant floaty arms that like floated around and picked out the boxes and brought it out for it to be distributed to whatever truck it had to go to. But this right here, I don't think this is AI going, nope, shut down. Like this looks like a critical failure. I don't know if it just offed itself.
Was it the first day on the job?
Oof.
I think it was actually. I think it was his first like day, like out in the wild, showing off at this little thing.
Yeah, just like seeing the Tesla truck. You know, it's supposed to do things and it didn't.
Like the rocket.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
What was it?
Whee!
Unscheduled rapid disassembly. Those words. You can make anything sounds fancy as long as you've got 3 words to describe it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, no, Twitter API access. I remember when they announced that just wasn't a good deal at
No.
all. And I will probably never develop anything that integrates with Twitter. I mean, it's already bad enough, like even for Discord, they make it easy. They have a whole dev center that you can go into. They give you all the tools that you need. They tell you how to interact with their system, how it's built, how you can pull stuff back and build. They don't charge for it. The most they do is like, hey, you're only allowed to send this many messages. And if you go over that, we have to throttle you. Now, some of the much larger bots like UberBot or any of the other bots that you commonly see on other servers, they're actually multi-sharded. So those guys, they because of their popularity, they have the increased rate, and they actually have full run of the entire API. They can send pretty much as they want because they're servicing a high volume of Discord customers because it improves the platform. So Twitter made a huge mistake by charging for this. Twitter ain't all that great. It wasn't all that great. It's failing for a reason. And now Elon bought a failing business. I like how he tried to pull out there, and the end was like, "Oh no, JK," and everybody else was like, nope, we're gonna sue your ass if you don't."
And
Yeah,
now
he's
he's like,
Yeah.
Apparently, pulling out is not his strong suit.
and that's one of the reasons why we had the title called X's and Oh Noes, because it was, Xbox versus X Corp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Twitter is changing its name as of May 18th, 2023 to X Corp.
And I'm
But
wondering
X
if
gonna give it
Microsoft
to
would
you.
actually go against, the name copyright stuff with like monster stuff. Like, oh, if you want lawsuits, we got lawsuits too.
Yeah.
Throw back to 2 episodes ago. It's awesome. Well,
Lawsuits for everybody.
I'm wondering if it's Twitter Inc. that they're changing to X Corp,
It is.
or
It is.
if it's the Twitter app is like, oh, I better hop on X Corp and what would I do then? Because you tweet on Twitter. What do you do on X Corp?
Well, they want to do like
You exit the app.
they want to do like
Do
well, I was gonna say they want to do something like what they're doing with Facebook, with like Meta.
Oh, good God, please no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Elon's like low-key crypto bro.
Mhm.
Low key, dude, he shoved it down your throat.
It's like, hey, you want to see how fast I can launch up Doge? Look how far I can shoot it down.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? Dogecoin strictly valued based on how much the meme was used?
Yeah, and then he screwed
Uh,
it up when he went on SNL.
yeah. The guy's a tool.
You heard of the Midas touch? Well, right now he's got the Elon touch. Everything just shrivels up and dies when he touches it.
You don't want the Midas touch because if you actually go to Midas, you might not have a working car. What?
Get
Oh,
wrecked.
oh man.
She ain't pulling no punches tonight, boys.
Nope.
Hey, they worked on my car and they gave me a faulty alternator and they didn't want to fix it, so that's on them.
Oof.
That sounds like the oil change company that my wife bought her stuff to, and they put brake fluid in her.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm getting there. She went to go get her oil change, and instead of putting actual brake fluid in her actual brakes, they put coolant.
What?
What?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, just I'm
Apparently,
not. I'm like, huh?
apparently your radiator requires brake fluid.
No.
That hurts. You might as well use power steering fluid.
I
And
feel
at
like
least
those
you get
people
a.
should have drank the coolant, save me some time.
I wonder how many people have tried to put power steering fluid into newer Toyotas.
Oh,
They all have electric steering. They don't have power steering like with hydraulics, like what normal vehicles have. It's all electric assisted with an electric motor.
Really? Is it like? I guess it's an enclosed hydraulic system as opposed to like being powered by the human going. I'd like to turn this way. It just.
No, it's literally a motor that assists you based on how fast or how far you're steering the steering wheel. Like the technology's been around for a while. It's literally known as fly-by-wire in aircraft.
Hmm.
But yeah, they've been using, like, even my 2015 had no power steering fluid pump. Like, it wasn't a hydraulic system in that sense. It was an electric assisted system. So I wonder how many people have tried finding where the power steering fluid goes in one of those cars. Jalen, hello.
Rawr.
Welcome, Pop Tart Lion.
First we've been bombed, and now we're being pop tarted.
I'm all right with it.
Have some Pop Tarts, sir.
Now it's called the Pop Tart bomb.
The tart bomb, the pop bomb.
Popping off.
Hey yo.
I think the best part about Stream Elements is seeing those little Pop Tarts like float up.
Yes, I do
Oh,
enjoy that.
Jalen, don't expect to be able to play Xbox and share to Twitter. Just a fair warning. Microsoft said that they're not going to be integrated with Twitter anymore because Twitter
With
wants to, or at least Elon wants to charge companies 42,000.
Elon Daddy wants more money.
$8 isn't enough. Just pay the $8. Hey, Microsoft, just pay the 42,000.
Didn't he like joke around saying he's starting a GoFundMe for all the celebrities that lost their checks as a joke, which was kind of fucked up.
I think so.
Yeah, and a lot of celebrities are like, no, don't even give that back to me. And he's done it anyways. And they're like, this is now tainted. It's disgusting. And they don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like Stephen King was like, don't give me the blue check. Use that $8 towards use that
Charity
$8
in
towards charity in
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Ugh.
Yeah, the muskrat is quite pathetic.
And then one meteorologist, I think, no, a news anchor actually said, I'm not paying for my blue check mark. I'm actually putting the cost of the annual subscription into the Trevor Project. And I encourage other people to do the same as well, to put that into charity.
Indeed.
Yes.
Like we have. And many
Yes.
others.
Speaking
That's
of
how we
which,
do.
the Trevor Project.
The Trevor Project is the leading organization that helps prevent LGBTQ plus
The alphabet.
I'll say.
let's say I've been tired all week. I've got the brain fog. Anyway, the LGBTQ plus
There's a lot to it.
help me.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
Amy.
LGBTQI on all
No,
allies.
mind you, I want you to know I'm not making fun of it. I literally can't think right now.
no, it's
So
okay.
okay,
So the Trevor Project is the leading organization trying to end uh, deaths of suicide among LGBTQ plus or 2+ youth, and it is a great charity to get involved with, a great charity to donate to. Highly recommend it. And if you've got the time to or the money to donate, go ahead. We definitely appreciate it. If you've got the time, watch the ads. And of course, like I said, their mission is to end suicide among gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and questioning young people.
indeed.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
I did the words for you.
Yeah,
I totally get that. Some days my brain's just like, nope, we not working today.
indeed.
I don't want a brain today. Do da do da.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
totally understand that.
Speaking of not braining, crisis maps. Did we want to touch on that?
I don't know much about it, but sure.
It's fairly simple. I mean, after I read the article about what a crisis, well, I understand completely what a crisis map is. Um, so the articles that came up is Blizzard is denying crisis maps about are being created because of loss of talent. So they're saying no. These plans for reallocating uh, critical issues in case people leave is not a thing. I think honestly, the entire tech world, almost the entire world, at least here in the United States, anyway, it's a huge issue. Like the whole layoff thing. Like, who decided that? Why was that a thing? Like it really irritates me the fact that what happened that was so terrible that major companies have had to lay off staff and then complain they can't perform the duties that are needed because they don't have enough staff. I mean,
So
We
that's
we created the problem. Now we have a problem, and we can't fix the problem because the problem we created can't be fixed because we don't want to fix it.
yeah, the meme with the
it's
dude on the bicycle where he's just like sticks the stick in his front wheel spokes and falls over and blames doesn't know why it happened.
yeah, it's basically shareholders
Yeah.
and people wanting to get more of a return on their investment, which is to the detriment of everybody. So people are losing their jobs, and then companies are scrambling trying to fill those roles with no one who wants to work for them because why would you want to work for a company where you're liable to get laid off on a whim?
Huh?
Yeah,
Like,
especially in like a state
screw
like
that noise.
Florida and stuff like that, which is a right to work state. Like, if you even say one thing wrong, they're like, "Oh, I don't like what you said. Goodbye."
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think the shock value behind this one it was issued out through game developer is just the fact that it exists.
Hmm.
But I don't. I mean, but Blizzard is saying it doesn't exist. All this exists. All companies have this. How are we going to do our work with the least amount of resources possible?
It's called a business continuity plan, and for them to sit there and say they don't have that is complete bullshit. And if they don't have a business continuity plan, they have no business being in business. Because you have to have a business continuity plan because that's what allows you to keep going when your key personnel, quit or retire or get killed in, car accidents, whatever. If they're missing, you need people to be able to take up that slack. And that is part of your business continuity planning. It's part of your disaster planning. And if you don't even have a disaster plan, holy shit, you're opening yourself up for massive failure.
Well,
This,
it's kind of like my mom's current place of employment and soon to be former place of employment. They hired her on to be a cashier, and then suddenly they have her working lobby because I guess they don't want an elderly lady to be the face of the company. So she's like, and one of the managers like, because my mom does all the work in the lobby and nobody else wants to do it, he would made the comment of, "What do you think I keep her around for?" So she took it upon herself to be like, you know what? No, I can do much better elsewhere.
Good for her.
And
Take care now. Bye bye then.
the funny thing
Yeah.
too is uh, they're in a crisis mode themselves because the fresh young faces that they hired, to be the face of the company now have to they're leaving because they're going to school. So I was like, well, I gave my 2 weeks, so you have enough time to find another person to replace me. Hopefully they like doing the lobby.
No doubt. You start getting into like super high school areas, it becomes a big problem because you'll have like long time people that have survived like decades in their role, and attrition starts happening, whether through layoffs or through just wanting to get out or go do something else. We're talking about like hundreds of years of experience of whatever it is just leaving. And this is on top of like you just don't walk into these jobs. You pretty much walk in with kind of know what's going on and leave with that that mentality of like, oh God, I did this for 20 years. Like it's pretty intense. Like my area at work, it's a minimum of like I would say it's about 6 months before you are comfortable. Otherwise, you're just drowning every step of the way. It's actually kind of terrible.
I mean, they could be like Iowa and they just literally just enforce child labor laws, so they just let 14, 15, and
What the
16-year-olds start working.
Oh man.
what the
Well,
I
fuck was
didn't
up with
mean
that? I saw that, and
I was.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but kids play
You
video
know my
games
ass is
too.
going to. You
Well,
know it.
well, kids play video games too. God damn it! So let's talk about this. What the fuck is going on right now? Like,
Can we talk conspiracy theory for a second?
go ahead, put on your shiny tinfoil
yeah,
hat.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
this is one of those things where it's like your guess is as good as mine. Fucking make that hat shine, dude. What do we got?
All right, it's a very out there theory, but if you really sit down and think about it, it actually kind of makes sense with how extreme some of these states are getting. Um, all the red states right now, the most of them, Tennessee, Florida, Iowa, are making these extremely just radical um, laws that are making people like pack up their shit and want to get out. Like people want to leave Florida, leave Tennessee, leave everywhere that has anything to do with red and get to a blue state as quickly as possible. But you look at the map, the majority of the states that are doing this are red.
Mm-hmm.
There's a theory that there's a bunch of these little very neoconservative Christian groups trying to take control of at least 34 of the states by pushing people out into their that don't want to vote red. And once they get enough people to do that and they control at least 34 states on their own, they can literally walk in and change the Constitution as they see fit.
Honestly,
That fits with another narrative I've been reading about that involves a very specific religious sect in the U.S. And yeah, that actually does track, and it's now even more horrifying.
For me right now, it's the only thing that really makes sense of how radical some of these things they're doing are.
Hold on just a second, Cajun. What were you gonna say, Crit?
I was going to say for those that are listening that might be 16 to 24 years old, if you kind of find yourself in a rut and you want to get yourself into like a trade without having to pay for it, or if you find yourself needing to get like a GED for any reason, perhaps high school wasn't for you, I really do suggest, instead of working your tail off at these minimum wage jobs, just try to see if you can get into Job Corps. They actually will help you get your GED. They'll give you like research different schools. They'll actually put you on a bus or fast track you to like advanced programs or something. You could do anything from carpentry to automotives to, phlebotomy to even business, IT and stuff like that. And then on top of that, once you actually get your education through them, they'll actually give you 2 years towards a college course. So, because certain schools actually have partnerships, and who knows, when they have those days where they have, business leaders coming in to shadow your work and stuff like that, you might even find yourself a new home in a different state. You don't know what doors you have open to you until you actually explore.
Good point.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
don't settle being 14 years old and working a minimum wage job when you can actually be like, I'm going into the working world with papers behind me. I'm worth more than just someone coming out of high school.
Yes, because you are 100% and 110% definitely worth more than these idiots are making you think you are.
I'm still
That's why when I
Hmm.
I'm still
that's why when I go into grocery stores, I'm like, work for Amazon. They pay more.
I'm still well, you've also got the other parts about it too. I like here in Texas, if you're under the age of 18 or not an adult, you can't work past 10 p.m. You can't carry more than 20 hours. I know for the longest time you could get your driver's license at like 14 for with a hardship license because you're supporting your family and you get all kinds of extra exceptions and whatnot. I'm still trying to place why this is such a big deal now in these other states and why it's being presented the way it's presented. I kind of want to do more research into what's going on, but on the other hand, it's just like, bruh, dude, it's 20 fucking 23.
Because when you cry and use fear of immigration and how immigrants are taking your jobs, blah blah blah, but nobody wants to do the work for the shitty amount they're being paid, what do? Do you get kids to work? Because kids can't complain. Kids are going to be absolutely exploited.
Hmm.
They have minimal rights, and they're going to have no recourse when it comes to abuses, whether that's like abusing overtime, whether that's actual like physical abuse or anything like that. They're not going to have any means of protecting themselves at all.
No, but
And
that's right.
I'm pretty sure the people making these decisions already know that, and they're counting on that.
But I really like Job Corps because when I was going through like a toxic time in my family, even as like a 17-year-old, it was my gateway to actually get away from it. They had, I only had my cell phone and they did have like a little computer room, but it was like a detox moment for me as far as like getting away, setting my boundaries and learning how to do my independence. I mean, yeah, sometimes we're a little bit tough over there, but um, you know, being able to like just get away, get on that bus and load up and pack out or pack up and go. There was something like, hey, I feel like I'm growing up right now. And that's a thing. Like if you feel like you need some time like away from your family and you want to get independence or something, that could be a good way to get a breather.
Don't let these politicians' preconceived notion of what you are put you in a box. Get out there and be who you're supposed to be.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're not just stuck in one area. I mean, there's greater things out there. There's certain programs in California you can go out to. It gives you a chance to actually get out and see a little bit of America, especially with the different um, career paths that they actually have available. There's a lot of stuff that they can actually offer you. Like my friend uh, Ravenhall in World of Warcraft, he played a Blood Elf Paladin, and I actually suggested, hey, if you're interested in this, why don't you just do the automotive course? And lo and behold, he did that, and he ended up going into the United States Army afterwards, and he's been successful ever since. Don't undervalue yourself just because they're giving you just one option. Find a different path. Beat on every door you can, but don't settle for anything that um, is below you.
Agreed. I dropped the link in chat for those that are interested that fit into that criteria. If not, it's jobcorps.gov. Fairly simple to get to. And yeah, that's solid advice, Crit.
Yeah, I've been there in 2007. I can vouch for it. I mean,
Okay.
there's a little bit of homesickness, but there's glory in actually knowing that you can actually get free education or continued education somewhere else. They give you 3 chances at the GED, so steady, steady. But they do also give you classes as well.
And then once you get that, you can definitely get in. You don't have to go to a full blown. You can go to a community college and learn a skill.
Yes.
That's what happened with me. I was working dead end job on an up and coming old man trying to get into the digital world. Couldn't sell snake water to a freaking jackal, and it just was going to pits. and I had
I totally missed all of that reference. What?
we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Anyway, and I was at the lowest point in my life. And Lumi can attest with this. He was doing his best to try to help me out and trying to get me educated to be a tech man like him, but it wasn't clicking for me. I didn't know what I wanted, and I managed to find what appealed to me, and that was working in the medical field as a lab tech. And I went to a two-year system here in Louisiana, and for the most part, I got a free ride because I got involved with the local, not the local, but the school um, politics, as it were. I was the treasurer for the committee, and they literally pay for like almost all of my schooling. So there's ways to get an education without having to fork over a lifetime's worth of debt. So don't think there's not chances out there.
Yeah, but like with a Job Corps, when I got my GED, they automatically said, "Hey, we're gonna give you a 2-year ride to like college if you want it." So yeah, that's like I said, that's a route that you definitely can go. Get yourself a degree so they can pay you more. Like
I would
really
have
do not
killed for that
undervalue yourself.
opportunity if
I'm
I
sorry
was a
for like
kid.
speaking my mind about it.
Oh no,
No, that's good.
it's absolutely relevant.
Like we are here to help anybody that we possibly can, ranging from advice for people like us who have gone down that trek and have clawed our way to where we are, to wanting to help people with the Trevor Project. We are here as a voice in the void to help. So don't ever apologize
Indeed.
for standing up on that soapbox, girl. Like
What
you're
I
killing it.
what I really liked about Job Corps though is I remember back in the day, people actually, when they were entrepreneurs, actually making their own, trying to make their own clothing brands or styles or whatever and promoting it. They did that there. Like we had like our own little ecosystem and stuff like that. This one guy would design his own clothes and show it off and stuff like that. Uh, you know, and it's just I like the community. I really did. Some days were kind of rougher than others, zero tolerance here and there, but you know, we still went out, um, went on trips, and otherwise I wouldn't even have had a prom. I ended up getting a second chance of actually having my own prom, so that was pretty good.
Very nice. Well, speaking of prom, Cajun, what do you got coming up this week?
How the hell did you segue prom into me?
I don't know. I had
You're
to
a very
find something.
pretty princess.
I had to find something. I
I
was
am
like,
so pretty, so witty.
so
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're up to 3 nights on our stream week now. We got Tuesdays through Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays is dedicated to all things Pokemon right now until something changes. We're currently hunting the Guzzy in terms of Pokemon Sword and Shield because he is eluding me right now, and I'm not happy about it.
that is the dirtiest name for a Pokemon.
I,
Guzzlord. He's part of the
yes,
Pornhub crew.
yes, he is, and his
Grim
girlfriend
Guzzler.
Pheromosa will be soon after him as well.
Pheromosa.
Yep.
Mm.
So those are the two we're hunting. And then one of the nights where I'm going to be finishing up a Pokemon card for the Miss Seraphina, because Lumi got us over the 5 sub goal count. Thank you for that, Lumi. And we're going to be finishing that artwork for them to enjoy, and they can put it in a box somewhere, or they do whatever they want with it. It's just for fun. It's a way for me to give back to the community. That's what I like to do in my own little way. And then on Wednesdays is for Jolly Cooperation. And right now, me and Lumi are going to try to unga bunga our way through freaking Gloomhaven. It did not go well last week.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought it went great because
Entertainment wise, it was great.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
open up the door. It's not trapped.
it was one of those things where it was like we've played video games before. Let's just go ahead. We'll smash our face against it. And Seraphina and Tox were both in chat going, "They didn't do the tutorial. Oh God!" Like, so
But the greatest part of the night was like, all right, we cleared the room, and then opened the door, and there's like 9 more enemies there, and they're like, that's not the last room either. I was like, huh? I have 2 cards.
Burn them.
it was an amazing adventure, and I can't wait to try it again Wednesday.
That's what we're going to be doing this Wednesday. So come on out and enjoy our pain.
Indeed. Barcode, what you got going on?
Currently bouncing Kerbals per usual, but I'm also tempted to start playing Postal 2 after almost 10 years. It'll actually be, let me find it here really quick. Postal 2, last time I played this was December 20th, 2023, or 2013, I should say. So I'm almost tempted to leave it till December 20th before I pick it up again. So it's a nice 10 years since the last time I played it. We'll see.
It's like you and Stanley Parable, but like
Oh, yeah.
hardcore edition.
Yeah. The Stanley Parable, I've got till August 19th of this year to wait. So August 20th of this year, I will be playing it for the first time in 5 years. So I'll get that achievement.
And then you have to do it for the next one.
Yeah, that'll be another 10 years for that one. So the 20th will be a Sunday. I may actually wait till the 22nd so I can start playing it at 11:59 p.m. the 21st and run till midnight on the 23rd. And that'll give me the other achievement for playing it the entire duration of a Tuesday. Yes, those are 2 achievements.
Those are very specific achievements.
Absolutely. There's the 888 one, which you
Knocking
have
on
to
the
click a
door.
button 888 times.
And there's
Yeah.
the one knocking on that door or whatever.
Yeah, that one's a gooder.
Yeah, especially when the guy's like talking to you about it, like, oh, did I say that many times? I really meant this. Oh, I actually told you to go to this other door. Ho ho. It's weird.
Cool. So achievements and potentially Postal 2. Grit, what's going on with you?
Just keeping it basic, working as usual. Usually off on Wednesdays. Probably going to finally, I think tomorrow I'm going to start my training for CPR, AED, and first aid, and then continue that, and then maybe segue into EMT stuff. And I'm talking about real life stuff, but
Well, it's
just
important. We're all people too, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Except for
nothing.
he's a barcode.
Yeah,
Barcodes are people. Ass.
Maybe people are
especially when
barcodes.
they
Yeah.
splat on the bottom of Dollar and Crater.
Yes. That was rather amusing.
It was
Sorry.
great.
But yeah,
What
just
about
working. But what about Lumi?
you, Lumi?
Halfway between deciding if I'm going to do the podcast next week or not. We'll see how I am. I've been ridiculously tired because of the added stuff that's been going on at work. So I haven't had a lot of time for anything. I was streaming like almost 6 days a week for the last few weeks. And
If you need time off, just take a break. I took time off because I decided to work. It's like if you don't want to burn yourself out, for sure. You have to take care of number one, obviously. And if we need to take a week off or whatever, just for
Mental health.
mental health or whatever reason, or just recovery, I'd just say, do it.
I'm thinking about doing it like all the way as far as like whatever we had planned Wednesday and whatnot, Cajun. I'm actually probably going to do that too and use that as development time, so that way I'm not constantly worried about managing my time to get back to stream.
Oh, sure, that's absolutely fine, dude. I can fill the gap with something else. No big deal.
Well, no, I mean I'll still show up to your streams. I'm just not going to stream, if that makes any sense. So keep you company.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen because I've been talking about finishing the website, still haven't done it. There's some other improvements that I want to make. I need to redo and do something interesting with the new poster that we have, and integrate that in with our current set and promotion and everything like that. So that's going to be a thing. I think taking a week to do that would probably help me, but I will announce that on Twitter if it's going to be a thing or not. For right now, count on it, and I'll be there. And I'm off. I'm still actually celebrating my birthday weekend this weekend too, so I'm taking like a long weekend from like Friday to Tuesday. So I'm going to have plenty of time to
there
do
you
all
go.
this stuff.
Woohoo!
Who
Yeah,
knows? Maybe in the future we can get something like a poster print so we can hang it up in our hallway, right, Imee?
Yeah.
that would
Hell
be
yes.
interesting if we could find a place to source it because we can do that. She designed it to do that. If you ever looked at the actual pixel size of that image, it's
Yeah.
poster sized. If it's worth it and there's a call for it, I would totally have those printed up into posters. Like seriously.
I would definitely hang that bitch up in my computer room.
Yeah. Or if you want to go make it into posters, you can. So the U is in the UDP cast.
Just have like a streamer corner, have Cosmo right by the poster too.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, get some ping action when we get our little fluffies. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be so cute.
I would love to see a Ping plushie limited run. I really would. I was actually talking with Jalen on his run with his plushies, and I don't think I'm going to go that route. And quite honestly, I just want the word out about our podcast and people to come listen and say hello and participate and just have a good time. So if it means not making any money off it, I'm okay with that because I want people to enjoy our presence. Speaking of enjoying our presence, we've got to terminate our presence as far as like this recording is going. So with that, we'll be back next week for episode 32, question mark, question mark, and question mark.
But if it's not next week because he said you need
Uh,
some time off or whatever. Right?
I'll notify on Twitter if I'm going to cancel it.
Okay.
But chances are count me in because I love the show.
Aw.
It's my favorite thing on TV. So with that, goodbye, everybody that's watching.
Bye bye.
And have
Take
a
care
great
now.
start to your week.